I think it is extremely important that we look at who is funding these protests. The only king that we have seen so far through these protests is King Chuck Schumer. It could be the usual suspect, of course, George Soros.
We have more to cover on the MAGA Cope Tour after the massively successful and peaceful No Kings protests, with Americans across political aisles showing their disdain for this failed administration. I want to hop into a Fox News panel coping and crying about this, so if you can, take a moment, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's get right to it.
I think it is extremely important that we look at who is funding these protests. We have to get to the bottom of this. It is a much larger organization. It could be the usual suspect, of course, George Soros.
They're hilariously ridiculous with their conspiracies and how consistently they go back to them. Now, I do want to point out the George Soros one is especially grossly anti-Semitic. It literally exists because he's a rich Jewish man. Like, that's it. He fits like the rich Jewish donor conspiracy mold. Like, that's the whole reason MAGA has created this conspiratorial character around him that they now hate. Most of them know nothing about him. They don't know what he does. They don't know what he spends his money on. He's just the face to, again, their Jewish rich donor anti-Semitism. But like the idea that he's just paying millions of people to protest who is they're protesting Trump, who's massively underwater in the polls. So he's also like paying them to vote negatively in the polls, I guess, as Republicans can't even do town halls because Republican voters are calling them out at them. I guess George Soros is paying them also. None of this can be real, of course. It has to be Soros. It's funnier than the people who tell me that I'm paid by him. Like, everyone who doesn't like Trump is paid by George Soros, I guess.
We are thankful that there are no kings here in the great United States of America. What we do have are democratically elected leaders, such as President Donald Trump, who won in a landslide last November. And this is why these people are gathering, is they simply don't want the will of the people. The only king that we have seen so far through these protests is King Chuck Schumer, who has shut down the federal government.
Chuck Schumer is literally one man. He's a minority leader in the Senate. Meanwhile, MAGA controls the presidency, the House, and the Senate. But yeah, guys, it all falls on Chuck Schumer. Don't forget that. We can point out also how Trump's election victory is hardly impressive. He ran for 2 years against a candidate who ran for 100 days, had to reshuffle her entire election infrastructure, offices, and staff, create a new political agenda, and then campaign, where Trump went on to only win by 2%, tens of thousands of votes in a couple of swing states, would have changed everything. And again, Trump is now massively underwater in all polling. Republican voters can't even hold town halls because Republicans can't hold town halls because their voters are angry. The idea that he's doing anything that has majority support among Americans is a fantasy, especially when you consider he's never once in 3 elections managed to get a majority of the vote.
Yes, it absolutely is. And thank heavens we do have a president of peace, Donald Trump. He has led to this extraordinary moment in time where we now have a fragile ceasefire, but a ceasefire nonetheless.
Yeah, guys, Israel has violated the ceasefire as of the last time I checked. It could be more now. 48 times. They have killed dozens of Palestinians since the announcement. They were bombing in the days after the announcement. Just the other day, they bombed 2 buses, killing 7 children aged between 5 to 12. For those who be like, oh, you know, even children can be Hamas. I'm sure the 5-year-old was Hamas and upping arms. But yeah, MAGA, keep going on Fox News and CNN and saying Trump brought peace to the region and deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, and showing how demonstrable piece of shit you are that only see genocide as a political stepping stone for Donald Trump to even the score with Obama. That is all these clowns see Gaza as. Like, this might be one of the grossest character arcs for the MAGA movement. And it's like, I really started to notice from the second that Trump announced the ceasefire and they just went, you know, it's a repeat of the Abraham Accords, but I just should not be so surprised for that exact reason, because look how that turned out years later, and look how this is unfolding just, what, days, week or 2 later. Like, it's clearly a lie by them that they're going to keep selling regardless of how it actually turns out.